G'day guys and gal, I bet you were waiting for this video. In a similar way to how Valrak is the Imperial Fist Gooner YouTuber and Pancreas No Work is the gay little Eldar simp, I am the Custodies bitch boy. I've oiled myself up, did a cosplay of them, and I literally have a Guardian Spear. They are my army of choice. I mean, check out my Blade Champion, what a little cutie. So it's extremely interesting to see that they appear to be getting a range refresh, featuring dramatically different sculpts with a dramatically different style, and yes, the first ever official female custodian models, which have been as controversial as expected. Now, I was going to jump on my computer and pull an all-nighter making this video over the weekend when the reveal came out. However, as a part of me looking after my own well-being and work-life balance this year, I decided to wait until Monday and my own designated work hours. So while I could apologize for that, honestly, it's for the best and I'm not sorry. I also just want to quickly mention and remind you that the Greyslayer Major Mini only has 24 hours before it's gone for good. We're not bringing it back and there will be no STL release. Sick model, stunning sculpt, link below to check it out. Today we'll go over the new Custodians model to determine if this is actually a range refresh, check out the models themselves, discuss what we like, what we don't like, and answer a few of your burning questions about these models and what it means for the old Custodian models. Let's get into it. Now off the bat, something very important to remember is that these Custodians were released as Horus Heresy models. For those that don't know, Warhammer is split into 40k, which is the current timeline with the Primaris and the Xenos and whatever, as well as the Horus Heresy, which is mostly just Space Marine models with a few extra Imperial sub-factions thrown in, like the Mechanicum and the Custodians. Generally, you don't play Horus Heresy models in 40k, nor do you play 40k models in Horus Heresy. The Custodians were an exception to this as their aesthetic hasn't changed much from Horus Heresy to 40k. However, these new Custodian sculpts are very different. They are way more lean, intricate, and slightly taller. A number of Custodian models were also improved and released in plastic, which is always considered an improvement over Forge World resin. People have had a few issues with the current Custodian models for a while. Sure, the models are dope, but due to scale creep, they don't really match their size in the lore anymore, and their proportions are a little funky. It's gotten to a point where people started kit bashing Custodian bits onto Stormcast Eternal models to create actually good-looking, well-proportioned Custodians. To make matters worse, the previous Custodian release of a Shield Captain was widely mocked as the model was even more squat and short than a normal Custodian. However, before I compare the new range and talk about what I like and don't like, let me put on my hazmat suit and talk about the big fuck-off elephant in the room, the first official female Custodian models. I actually hate talking about this, and it's getting a little bit upsetting. See, I love talking about Custodians, they are my favorite faction, but because of how controversial female Custodians are, suddenly it's like walking on eggshells. Like, I used to make Custodian vids all the time, and now I just don't really enjoy it, as although I could just ignore the female Custodians, it is my job to discuss all parts of the lore on a topic, even if that part isn't well liked. When I first discussed female Custodians, my take was, I'm not a huge fan, I think they were implemented poorly and are unnecessary. However, I'm not going to let this stop me from enjoying Custodians as a faction, and due to the production process of a Custodian, the only real difference between a male and female Custodian would be their names. Like the female Custodian in the animated show was extremely butch and manly, as she should be, being a gene-enhanced killing machine and all. So I'm glad at least GW hasn't randomly changed the entire feel of the faction. I also emphasize that we should respect each other's opinions. Those who dislike female Custodians shouldn't personally insult those who do like female Custodians and vice versa. Disliking female Custodians doesn't make you a misogynistic far-right pig. Liking female Custodians doesn't make you a woke libtard trying to feminize the hobby. Because of my above take on the matter, I was labeled a woke far-left liberal, with a viral Twitter thread literally just labeled I hate him. And it's also my most downvoted video I've ever made, losing me thousands of subscribers. I kept the video up because my opinion hasn't changed. I think my take is very reasonable. However, it's crazy that the people who share the same opinion as me, that being disliking female Custodians, turned on me because I didn't dislike them enough is some seriously dumb shit. Then another video I made about female Custodians, which was literally just objectively going over all the lore involving female Custodians and actually making fun of GW for how poorly they introduced the female Custodians, still got a ton of downvotes purely because of the subject matter. When I buy the new Custodian box, because of course I will, I personally won't use the female Custodian heads, mostly because I fucking hate painting faces, but also I'd rather just play them as males. However, if someone wants to make their entire shield host chicks, then all power to them. It's called basic respect. So to summarize, my main issue with the female Custodians is mostly based on how poorly and insultingly GW introduced them. Like everyone, both for and against, can agree on that. Instead of releasing an awesome female shield captain model and releasing a sick live action animation of a female Custodian and then respecting the lore by saying that with the Custodians needing to replenish their numbers after the battle at the Lion's Gate, combined with the official order lifting their restrictions from leaving Terra, they finally begun recruiting from females. If they had said and done all that, then in my opinion the community response would have been way more chill. Instead, in like a Twitter post, they said, "Fuck you, you, female custodians have always existed, you idiot. If you disagree or don't like that, then lick my balls, you misogynist. Obviously that isn't word for word, but that's how it felt. It just felt lazy. Even in the article where they discuss these female custodian models, they don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. They literally say, well yeah, the law says custodians come from the noble sons of great houses, but like, they probably could also recruit the daughters as well. I don't know, we didn't put any time or effort into it. Ironically, they have since gone back and made a cool female custodian animation and released a cool female option shield captain, but they should have done that from the start. So that is my take on female custodians, and this is the last time I'm going to talk about it in a meta way. If you still struggle with that take and think Majorkill, the Aussie retard who insults everyone and has made some extremely fucked up but hilarious jokes over the last 10 years, is a woke libtard for that, then there is no hope for you. Sorry for that, but it had to be said and it had to be addressed because these are the first female option custodian models and it is very topical. So let's put that to the side and now look at the models themselves. Off the bat, we can see they went for a much more lean figure, which overall I do like, as the custodians were always described as more human proportioned and athletically built than the crude muscle hunk Astartes, so this will help distinguish them more from each other. Another awesome aspect for the new models is how custom their armor is now. Each custodian model now looks like its own character with their new dynamic poses and highly custom armor. The lore always discuss how each custodian is an individual work of art, or one of ones. However, the models didn't really reflect this. However, now they do. The cloaks are also quite cool. Other obvious wins include the plastic dreadnoughts, who are great, the plastic venerati, who interestingly enough look a lot more like their 40k counterparts in terms of style rather than their new Horus Heresy versions, and the new plastic tanks. As always, plastic is nicer to work with, so it's always a plus. Now back to the custodians. I would also say the Sentinel swords and shields are better. The old swords were kind of retarded, way too bulky, and of course the highlight of the new models, the shield captain, who makes the previous shield captain look like a dumbass suffering from dwarfism. It's clear they took a lot of inspiration for these models from older artworks of early custodians. So overall, for the positives, the new unique armor styles, the proportions, the sentinel weapons and poses are all great, but there are some things I really fucking hate about these new custodians and I'm pretty pissed off about. Firstly, there was no need to remove the shin aquila. It makes them look a bit stupid. Having these super ornate top halves and the bottom halves just being boring plain plate. Honestly, their legs are now almost identical to Stormcast Eternals, which isn't a compliment. Next up, that fucking top knot thing is so fucking stupid. God damn it, I hate it so much. It gives off Napoleon wearing big hats to pretend to be taller vibes. Like, god damn it, GW. I'm so annoyed because it's such a small, unnecessary thing to add in that does so much to take away from the model. Now, I have seen photoshopped mock-ups of both shin aquillas being added in and the top knots being removed, and it looks way better. So it's not like it didn't match or anything. It's almost like they just changed it for the sake of changing it. A lot of people are also citing the new height as being amazing because it's now way more lore friendly, but they are actually barely taller, if at all. Honestly, like they might not even be taller. As you can see here, the new Sentinel is a micron taller. But then if you look at the pose, if that custodian brought his legs together, the extra height would make them equal. Any illusion of the new models being taller is just because of those stupid fucking top knot thingos. The new Guardian spears are also a bit strange. The blade and ammo are now a lot more curvy for whatever reason, and they removed the trigger for the spear bolter, so not really sure how they're supposed to fire these anymore. As for the helmets, these are an overall downgrade from 40k custodians in my opinion. However, I do like that each helmet is unique now to match the custom armor vibe. Most of them are okay, but they now have this weird oval shape and look a lot softer and goofier than traditional custodians. I particularly despise this helmet with a passion. It looks like goddamn shit. The shield captain helmet is cool because it's unique and it's a throwback to old style custodian artwork. I mean, fuck, even the shield captain having the top knot thing is kind of okay since it would help identify them as the shield captain. It just didn't need to be given to everyone. So my overall feelings on the new models are mixed. There are some cool changes here and some really shit changes. In my opinion, here's what they should have done to make the ultimate custodian model. Make them 5% taller, remove the top knot thing, add in the shin aquila, use the older helmets as a template, but then make each one custom and unique from each other, add the trigger back in for the Guardian Spear and make it less try-hard. If they had done all of that, boom, the ultimate custodians. So I'm very disappointed that they haven't. I honestly think that when I buy them, I'll look at getting new heads custom modeled that perfectly kit bash into them. If so, I'll also release them on major minis for you guys. I'll also potentially look into getting the legs redone with the Aquila, but that may be more complicated. The rest, like the Guardian Spear, is fine, not a deal breaker. Now there are a few questions you guys have, because I know I had them. The biggest being, are these the new custodians, replacing the current range, or are these Horus Heresy exclusive custodians? Well, they're kind of both. GW has said that you may play these new custodians in both Horus Heresy and 40k. Fortunately, they would also fit into an existing custodian army well enough. It's not entirely clear if all custodian releases going forward will use this style, since the shield captain that came out a few months ago very clearly used the older style, and the new Venerati also seem more proportioned to the older style as well. I honestly think GW is testing the waters here. If these models sell well and are super well received, I can imagine a transition more towards this newer style. If it doesn't go too hard, then it will likely end up as a Horus Heresy Heresy exclusive. It's just a bit frustrating because the models are so close to being perfect, but have these massive glaring issues that are so unnecessary. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the Grey Slayer. The model's been taken offline permanently in 24 hours, so this is your last chance to get him. No STL will ever be released of him either. Hit the subscribe button, hit the real subscribe button for more golden content. Join the Discord for more memes that I'll see you in the next one. Peace.